finally putting them all in one place, and I'm really excited to share the complete stories with you. I want my stories to be ones you can hold on to when life seems unbearable, when you experience heartache for the first time or the 50th time, when you have to dig deep and remember that joy is out there waiting for you. We are all searching, growing, beautiful walking stories who need encouragement. Each chapter in this book shares the story behind a note I left for a passenger to find. Some stories are old and some are new. As I share my travels, struggles, and growth with you, I hope you'll see God in a fresh, beautiful new way in your own world. I hope these stories spark within you a deep desire to practice kindness and courage every day, in big ways or small. While reading this book, imagine you and I are sitting next to each other toward the back of the airplane on a flight. It's one of those really lucky flights where no one is sitting in the middle seat. Oh yeah, we are going to Paris too, because a fresh croissant and a walk under the Eiffel Tower sound like a dream come true right about now. It's just me and you, two strangers sharing stories. Chapter 1. Be kind to yourself. I never really believed in magic, at least not before I took my first airplane ride. The magic and joy that come from flying on an airplane is very rare and special. Did you know there is a specific time of day that holds the most magic while flying? I think so, at least. And you could say I'm kinda an expert with all the traveling I do. The most magical time to be on an airplane is around 6 in the morning, right when the morning sun is stretching its arms up over the sky to say hello to us. I know 6 in the morning sounds like a punishment, but trust me, being in the air at this time is unlike anything I've experienced. I'm sure you have seen a sunrise from the ground, but seeing one from 30,000 feet in the sky is something different. I can think back to one specific magical 6 in the morning flight I was working in 2014 that has stuck with me. I had been a flight attendant for 3 months at that point, and I was still getting used to the job. I was still pronouncing city names horribly wrong. I was still overly nervous to pour Diet Cokes, which is by far the hardest drink to pour on an airplane, just in case I poured a little too much and gave a passenger a spill they didn't ask for. I was learning so much, especially how to be kind to the strangers I had daily encounters with. Passengers on my flights, coworkers, humans in airports, drivers in hotel vans, and all the other places in between. Being a flight attendant is stretching because it requires that you interact with strangers, who, in most cases, are so stressed from all that happens when traveling that they are sometimes the worst versions of themselves by the time I greet them on the plane. Waiting in line at the ticket counters, TSA pat-downs, dealing with agents, gate changes, $7 bottles of water, checking their luggage when they don't want to check their luggage, and all the other things they encounter at the airport can be really hard. If I try to help someone fit their bag in the overhead bin and it doesn't fit, it's my fault, even though I didn't make the bins or buy the bag that wasn't the right size. If I ask someone to get off their phone during the safety demonstration, I'm the bad guy, even though the safety demonstration is the most important part of the whole journey. Usually, I have to ask them multiple times too, and that's when things really start to spice up. I wish I could let everyone do whatever makes them the happiest, but that's not always in the safety and best interest of everyone else around. It can be a lot. I was learning how to be kind to not the kindest of humans. I was being stretched like a rubber band. I found myself, more often than not, annoyed and losing empathy when dealing with the hardest people to love. I was really discouraged. I was learning a lot, but the lessons felt stale. The inner work of becoming the most beautiful, kind, patient version of myself, the version I deeply desired and wanted to become, wasn't sticking. Something was off. During that specific morning flight, I had just finished a quick beverage service and was sitting in the back of a Boeing 737. It was a fairly empty flight where the few passengers on it were sleeping, some even snoring with their eyes closed tight. As I was sipping on my coffee, I started thinking about my own personal life away from work and traveling. I believe that we become like the things we love, and if I'm being honest, I didn't love a lot of good, healthy things. The things I found myself loving were toxic relationships and behaviors, holding on to pain, impatience, self-doubt, and not handling my mental health very well. How could I ever expect to love others well if the love I had in my life and toward myself was so unhealthy? How could I build people up if I only tore myself down? How could I be kind to others if I wasn't first being kind to myself? The last question really shook me.